Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Garden of Sports. I'm your host, Jake Gardner, alongside my brother, Zach Gardner.
What's up, everyone?
And welcome to Basketball Week 2 Recap. We'll be breaking down all the action, going over guys to grab, key injury news, watch list guys, and just talking some basketball, talking guys that I stole from Zach, who he dropped stupidly. There's things like that, right, Zach?
Yeah. Can't wait to get into that.
So we'll jump right in, and I'll take point guards.
Love basketball so much.
Top performers. You know what, dude? I don't want to hear it. Point guards, Jonte Murray, 55.1 average. So
Is that good?
So far, yeah. For this is so for top performer, this is over the past 7 days, is what this average is. So Jonte Murray, 55.1. It looks like he is performing where he was drafted, which is what I was scared of, that he might not, like third round. But he's performing like a second round talent right now. So hopefully he can keep it up and there's no injuries, and he just looks amazing right now. Ja Morant, 47.4. Obviously he's overperforming fourth round value. So another amazing grab by people. Russell Westbrook, 46.5. Now this is with LeBron missing 2 games. So it's still a question mark on if he can. This is what you want from him. You want like a 46.5 average. Then he's a steal where you got him.
Yeah.
But when LeBron plays and if he doesn't perform well when LeBron plays, then I don't know, that's the risk he took. So right. Stephen Curry, 45.5 average. No surprise there. Trae Young, 41.8 average. Obviously you want Trae to be a little higher, but still very good.
Yeah. And then we got shooting guards, top 5 shooting guards. Jimmy Butler, 54.5 average. Devin Booker, 47.3 average. Bradley Beal, 42.9 average. James Harden, 40.7 average. And Jalen Brown, 39.3 average. Shooter's gonna shoot.
Yeah, Jalen's been up and down so far. He's had some huge games over like 50 or 60 fantasy points and then some downers. And then Harden, you definitely want to see a higher average for a top 5 pick. You want him more near 50. And he's been struggling to start the year. Some people are saying it's partly because of the rules. It's also just that his shot hasn't been dropping. So he should still get above 45. I don't know about 50 because of the free throws. It was a huge thing for him in the past 5 years. So
right.
We'll see. Obviously you can't trade it. You just got to hold him. He's a top 5 pick. So
yeah.
Small forwards, Jason Tatum, 49.8 average. Now that's what you want to see. That's why you drafted him early second round.
Right.
Or earlier in like a deeper league. So he was a first round. So LeBron James, 45.4 average. That's only like 1 game or 2 games this week. So, but that's where you want him. Kevin Durant, 45.3 average. Paul George, 45.2. So he's coming down a little bit from that first week. Miles Bridges, 43.4.
What a steal he was.
Yeah, he's obviously the breakout of the year so far.
And had, dude, not in our 10-team league, but in our 12-team league, I had him queued up.
Yeah.
There was freaking Max picking right before me, dude. I had this guy queued up in like the 10th round or something crazy.
Okay.
And I was ready to draft him. Max takes him right before me. I couldn't believe it. So I ended up taking some guy who I probably have dropped by now.
Dang, Max is probably pretty stacked then, because he had the number 1 pick as well.
I wanted Miles Bridges so bad.
Yeah, so far, there's a couple of really good. I don't want to say he's the for sure breakout, because Sadiq Bey is doing great.
I'm waiting for Jaren Jackson to break out.
Yeah, he's a little frustrating right now, but obviously you can't drop him. And then the other big breakout is Scotty Barnes, obviously. So
yeah,
I say those are the top 3 so far. So you can't just say Miles is for sure the one, but it seems like, I don't know.
He has great chemistry with LaMelo. That's the reason I wanted him.
Yeah, he's definitely the number 2 guy there right now. It's like he passed Gordon Hayward. So, which is good for. I mean, Gordon Hayward's still doing good. It's just that he's just taking more of the shooting role now. He doesn't have to drive.
Mm-hmm.
If they need somebody to drive, they have LaMelo or Miles do it.
Right.
Yeah, you want to take power forwards?
Yeah, those power forwards. Here we go. Big surprise at number 1, Giannis Antetokounmpo, 60.1 average. Who the heck's this guy?
Yeah, right.
And then Anthony Davis, 49.7 average. Julius Randle, 43.6 average. Domantas Sabonis, 40.9 average. And Jeremy Grant with a 39.8 average.
Yeah, it's all pretty. I mean, if you had to just guess.
These are some very powerful forwards.
Oh my god. All right. Centers, Nikola Jokic, 50.5 average, which is just great to see considering he had that injury a couple games ago and we thought, oh man, he might miss a couple weeks because he looked in the serious pain and then he was back the next game, so.
It's crazy, dude. He's built like a block of cheese.
Jonas Valanciunas, 49.4 average. I mean, he's also was a steal this year. Just
is he really a steal though? I mean, I feel like most people know that he's a double machine.
Yeah, but he's a steal because of how late he was in the draft.
True. Okay.
12th. He's one of the last starting centers off the board. Let's just say that.
That's pretty crazy then.
Yeah. Deandra Eaton, 46.3 average, so he's bouncing back.
Finally. My gosh.
Al Horford, 45.4 average. Karl Anthony Towns, 45.2.
Nice.
So, yeah, those are your top performers. We'll just go right into injury news. And this is kind of great. The first week, we saw all those ankles, and we thought, oh, there's going to be a bunch of guys going to IR. And then all of them just came back within 1 to 2 games, which is crazy. So, all of these just really aren't that bad. But DeAndre Ayton, right leg contusion, he left the game late. And there's no timeline yet. It sounds like it's just a bruise. So, he could just be playing next game. LeBron James, ankle, questionable for Sunday. It's just because it's a back-to-back, I believe. So we'll see. He played 38 minutes last game, so they might just rest him. Bam Adebayo, knee. He missed Saturday's game, so that's something to watch. Brandon Ingram, hip, missed Saturday's game. Another one to watch. Scotty Barnes jammed his thumb. It was, kind of a scare for owners, but x-rays came back negative, so he should be good. They'll probably just wrap it like Zach LaVine. Robert Williams, illness, and Marcus Smart, illness. So on the Boston Celtics, there's a non-COVID illness going around. So those guys missed Saturday. We'll see if they miss more. Malcolm Brogdon, hamstring. He missed Saturday's game. Could definitely see him
day now.
Yeah, could definitely see him miss some more time because Karis LeVert is back, and Brogdon has had leg issues like this before, and they don't want to just have him re-aggravate it worse, So
yeah, they should just let him sit out. They should just let him sit out until the playoffs and let me miss them. That would be great.
No, I just imagine they're not going to rush him back.
Yeah, of course they won't.
It's like 3 games.
Oh, yeah, he's going to sit out for a while. That sounds like my luck.
Yeah. Do you want to scoop him up, or you want me to take it?
Scoop him up.
Scoop him up.
All right, so Will Barton, long-term still, 40.2% owned. Could keep this average of 30 until Jamal Murray is back, which could be a little while, at least until January, February.
Yeah, it's a little while.
Yeah. Get this guy in your lineups, 40.2, way too low for a guy who's showing consistency like he is.
Yeah.
Steven Adams, 56% owned. What are people doing? Starting to slow down, but still a worthy floor fantasy player. This guy's one of those guys that can walk into a double-double every game.
Yep. Yeah, definitely worth it.
Ricky Rubio, 49.1% owned. Ride him while he's hot. Garland will eventually fully take over the point guard. But Rubio, he's just a very consistent guy. He's just a good point guard,
Just historically, though, he's kind of streaky like this.
Yeah.
So, he'll have a couple good weeks and then come back down to earth. Plus, Garland's the point guard of the future, so It's just kind of a gotta to see how long it can go. But
Yeah. Then De'Anthony Melton, 17.1% owned. Looks like a mini breakout. We're going to see what happens when Dylan Brooks comes back, but Jake thinks he's going to take away more time from Desmond Bane than Melton. So,
yeah, people are grabbing Melton and Bane. People are actually grabbing Bane more.
so what
But
about, is he taking away time from Batman?
what?
Because he's
Oh
taking
my
away time
god!
from
Oh
Bane.
my god! No, just Bane's a good shooter, but Brooks will play like small forward or can, and
Yeah.
Melton just looks like a good like two-way player starter, and he's been there longer.
Okay.
It just seems like he could keep that up.
Gotcha. Then we got Cole Anthony. Long term.
Yep.
Breakout year, it seems. 52.2% owned. Hopefully he is still out there. So go get Cole Anthony, starting point guard. He's doing really well. He's definitely showing some consistency. I mean, we need 52.2%. I mean, those are rookie numbers. We got to pump those numbers up. So
Yeah,
let's go.
people worried about drafting him because of the
People are waiting for the
rookie.
Garden of Sports seal of approval, and now that's going to shoot up to like 80% this week. So
Yeah. No, we talked about him as a watch list guy last week, and now
yeah,
he's just people have already grabbed him. I mean, in super competitive leagues, he's probably already gone. But
yeah.
if yours isn't like extreme, then you could probably still get him.
And then we got you need to pick this guy up, Stephen Curry. He's
Yeah.
only
No.
54.
Oh my god. Yeah. Right.
No, Seth Curry, 54.9% owned. He's had 3 bad games, but he should bounce back. He's a great floor player. Yeah, he's always looked really good on the floor, right, Jake?
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. No, he's looked great from the 3-point line, and he's had these 3 bad games, but he still is the number 3 guy in my eyes on that team, the number 3 scorer.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Then
Milton is back and he's starting point guard, but Seth Curry's shooting guard, so we'll see.
then Jake, I don't know about you, but this next guy,
Yeah,
this next guy is getting me real giddy just thinking about it.
giddy up.
Yeah, giddy up. Let's go. We got Josh Giddy. He's a definitely long term. Like this guy's, if when you say long term,
Mm-hmm.
you don't always fully mean long term, but this guy, this is long term.
Oh my god.
So he's 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 only 33.9% owned. He looks like the second best player on OKC. He really sees the floor well and he looks confident. So I'd say
yeah, man,
confidently pick him up.
he looks like he's been here a while, even though he hasn't. He's a definite floor general, and
He's kind of like, I don't know, a little bit like last year, Tyrese Halliburton, just kind of a good fantasy player all season. He looks like he could be like that, just putting up good numbers every game.
yeah, and I think
He might be a little better overall player than Halliburton, but fantasy wise, like Halliburton was a very good rookie last year.
yeah, no, for sure. No, Giddy's a definite grab. I don't know what else to say. Like he's just like big
Yeah.
upside guy because we already saw his
So
breakout game early in the week. So that's why last week he was he only had the one good game so far. This is his watch list, but this week he just kept it going.
Giddy up and get on it, guys. And then
Yes,
this next guy, Franz Wagner, 24.5 fantasy points without Okiki back yet. So great streaming option. Pick up the German wonder over here.
Yeah, he's just being pretty consistent for a crap Orlando team. So he's just a good floor guy, big man if you need a power forward. He's worth it. When Okiki comes back, we'll see what happens. But
Okay.
great streaming option.
Yeah. All right. And then Kelly Olynyk is here to stay in fantasy. 31.5 average and provides veteran leadership for the team while increasing his minutes over the past several games. And the flow is real.
Oh, it's real. Yeah, it's just like they needed this veteran leadership, and he's proven when he gets the minutes that he's a fantasy stud. He's done it on the Heat. He did it on Houston at the end of last year. And it looks like just being on a worse team like Detroit, he's going to be great. So
All right. You heard it
he
here
might
first,
be.
folks.
Yeah, well, probably. I mean, everybody can see the stats, but it's definitely worth a pickup. I didn't put long term yet because you never know with a team that's trying to play more young guys.
Right.
But yeah, and then watch list or deep league moves. I have a couple here. Kevin Love, 11.3% owned, 22.5 average on like 20 minutes. So if he ever got up to like 28 minutes, I mean, he could definitely average 30 fantasy points, no doubt. And he could be traded to a contender, not that you should use that for fantasy purposes, but it's still something to take note of. And then Marvin Bagley, most people have dropped him because he's not playing on Sacramento. But I think he's going to be traded to probably a young team or younger, anybody who needs a power forward. And everybody knows this guy can play if he gets the minutes. And we know the injury history, but he's still young. He was picked before Luka Doncic and some other great young players. So he's been a bust so far in the NBA, but he still has that potential there, and he's still very young. So I would just have him on your watch list and be quick with the trigger if he gets traded to a team like the Bulls or even Detroit. Houston would be good. I mean, there's just a lot of options out there. There's a lot of young teams. Shake Milton just came back, 3.1% owned, 22.8 average in 2 games on only 17.5 minutes. And this is a guy who we know when he filled in for Ben Simmons last year or the year before, if he got the minutes, he could produce. So if he gets his minutes up from 17.5 to even like 25 minutes, he could get you around 30 average. So he's definitely got to watch. And also another one to be quick with the trigger on.
I don't know, I prefer his brother Bake Milton.
Bake? Oh my god.
Yeah, you never heard?
No.
And they need to actually get him on the team. The shake and bake combination, they're a great 1-2 punch.
God. Yes. And then I noticed in 10-team leagues, like Zach dropped Darius Garland, people dropped Aaron Gordon.
Fucking Zach. Who is that?
Marcus Smart is being dropped. And
What
it's not just Zach, it's this percent. You can see the percent dropped in leagues across the ESPN. These are definite guys to grab for the bottom of your bench. Yeah, they're not going off the second week of the year, but they have long-term value for the season. And definitely in this order, Garland, Smart, Gordon.
It's hard in a 10-team league because guys on the bottom of your team in a 10-team league are very, 1 week one will go off, 1 week another will go off. You can, it's just hard to anticipate who to hold at the bottom of a 10-team league,
It can be, yeah, for sure. It's at least these are guys to watch.
It's a very volatile area of a fantasy team.
Can be.
Well, yeah. At least it is for me, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
When you suck at fantasy basketball, it's
oh my god. Well, you just gotta put in the effort,
I'm trying. Really am trying.
And so those are my main guys to go over for Deep League and scoop them up. There's a lot of guys. There's a lot more players being added, but I didn't want to just going over every guy. I mean, that just doesn't make it a good pickup list. I mean,
I just have a couple talking points that I wanted to hear your expert take on.
Okay.
So our 12-team league, you did kind of lightly touch on it earlier in the episode, but
okay,
very competitive league, picked clean. Everybody goes through this. Everybody goes through our free agents like with a fine-tooth comb. There's like nothing. You're making very deep.
Did you spell that guy's name right? I can't even find him.
Yeah, that's his name.
Simmons.
Anthony Simmons.
Is it 1M? Yeah. Okay.
I wanted to get your take on this guy. People are adding him.
I don't see much upside. I mean, he's on a really stacked Portland team.
I needed a point guard, and he was like the only one.
Oh, you grabbed him?
Yeah, because I needed a point guard because Brogdon went down, and I didn't have another point guard on the roster besides Reggie Jackson. and he was one of the best ones available in our league. So that tells you how deep everyone. I mean, Anthony Simmons was who I had to add for point guard.
Who'd you drop?
I didn't drop anybody. I moved Brogdon to the IR.
I mean, that's exactly what he is. He's a fill-in for an injured guy.
Yeah.
I mean, but you could grab... Oh, God. He didn't do good enough last game. He's a fill-in, but it's not like the Portland Trailblazers. There's not much room for more fantasy appeal because they're so deep. And they have really good starters and a really good bench. So, like, this is his... I mean, his floor and his ceiling is right around 20. I mean, unless there's an injury, it's bar an injury.
Yeah.
The team.
And
so
then
it's
I
a
have
good
another
fill-in
guy,
until Brogdon's back.
Guy that I picked up.
Okay.
Devin Vassell. So I wanted to get your opinion on him. He seemed like he had a little bit more upside and could be a little bit better of a move, but
yeah, because it's a young team. Let me go to.
He could be put into the starting lineup. I read so.
For taking over for who? Small forward or?
Yeah. Who's the guy that they were saying?
They have two. Their two starting guards are set. Like he's not going to take a guard spot, so he can take small forward.
Saying Doug McDermott. He's the starting small forward.
Oh yeah, Doug McDermott's hurt right now, so yeah, he'll fill in until Doug's back. But they really like McDermott.
Yikes!
So
I'm hoping that Devin Vassell can take over the starter.
He could, but it's also a starting lineup that has set every other position, I'd say, besides small forward. I mean,
okay.
Power forward is Keldon Johnson. The guards are Dejonte Murray, which is their star, and then Derek White. And then they really like their big man, White Boy. And he's doing pretty good, so nobody's going to take over for those four. So yeah, he could take over small forward, but the touches are going to the guards for the most part.
And then there's an injury thing that we forgot to mention too.
Who?
Patrick Williams is out for like the rest of the regular season.
Well, nobody was really grabbing him in fantasy.
Okay, well.
And he wasn't doing good in fantasy because it's kind of like, this is a good example of just like Vassell. He's the fifth best starter out of the five. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's hard to grab him. I mean, only teams who really spread the ball perfectly, I guess, like the Spurs, that makes the fifth guy an option. Or like, who's another good example? Let's see. I mean, the Bulls would be the best example this year, and they still weren't giving it to him. So that tells you how valuable the fifth starter is. I mean,
right.
They're there for, usually the fifth best starter is there for defense for sure, and that's what he was. But he wasn't going off, so.
So do you think the Bulls are one of the guys that are going to trade for Marvin Bagley? Now that Patrick Williams is out, they don't really, they need kind of forward depth?
They need forward, they already, before this injury, they were talking about forward depth and how they needed it.
Yeah.
And now they definitely need it because he's out for the season.
That would be a good move, I think. Getting Bagley, a guy that has good upside,
Mm-hmm. It's good for offense, not so much for defense, where we're already, like, Vukovic isn't a good defender.
Right. So then, well, I don't know. If you watched last night, you'd be thinking he's a great defender. That's crazy.
Which part? What did he had a couple steals?
He had a couple steals and a couple blocks.
Yeah, they were just kind of, I don't know what Utah was like sloppy passing. I don't know what they were doing, but
I just think the Bulls are a good defensive team this year. And I think it surprised Utah. I think
the shooting guards, the two guards, and the DeMar DeRozan are great on defense, but our weakness are definitely going to be our big men.
Right. Well, I don't know though, because he did look good on Rudy Gobert. Like he held his own defensively. Mm-hmm. I was kind of surprised.
But we definitely want him. We want to trade for Bagley because that'll open up Vukovic more because they'll have to actually guard the power forward for offense.
Well, yeah, you're right. Are the Bulls for real, dude? Like, are they actually a good team? Can you think? I think they're looking like a top 4 seed so far. Like, do you think they can maintain that? I think they can if they all stay healthy.
I predicted them. I said their ceiling was the 4 seed. I don't see him taking top 3.
I think it
But
really is dependent on Lonzo Ball staying healthy for sure. I think he's the key
yeah, and they gotta
because
keep the defense up.
yeah. So
They're just
far,
they're playing team ball right now. That's what's important.
this is the best I've seen them look since like 2012.
Like,
They look great.
yeah, no, like Utah, they're beating teams like Utah who only have 2 stars.
And they were a shot away from beating New York, and they were a little sloppy that game.
Yeah, that game ended closer than it was. I mean, they were up by like 7, New York was, with a minute left, and then we got within 1 point. But New York really had that game, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the team that we're kind of almost sampling after, like the super deep, 5 good starters, great bench players. That's what we're kind of going for.
Yeah.
But you could say we have the better guards. So, yeah, I think we're playing against them in Atlanta for the 4 seed. Like, that's going to be the 4, 5, 6.
The East is
You could
a
have
lot
argued,
deeper than it's been.
yeah, you could have argued Boston, but they're not playing well. They are not playing well. So, something's up with them. They got to get it together.
I can't believe how well they look like they've been playing together for like 3 years, and it's been 5 games.
Yeah, it's Southwest basketball. I think that's why. Again, that they beat Utah guys, because Utah. What?
It's like it's like a jigsaw puzzle, and they got the perfect pieces right here in the starting 5. Like these guys play so well to complement each other very well.
Yeah, but they're not playing selfish like Utah does, where like the 2 guys who got paid heavy money are the guys they're going to, so it's predictable. This team it's even money because everybody has team friendly contracts besides maybe Vukovic, but then they're also they all came into camp knowing that they want to play to win. Like none of them have won it.
Right.
Besides, the GOAT.
Yeah, Caruso.
Yep. Caruso's won it, so it's really him,
Yeah.
He's the mastermind. Basically assistant coach at this point. I mean,
pretty much.
Yeah, I really think we could finish the 4, but to say that we're going to finish better than Milwaukee, the Nets, or Miami is just really hard.
No, I don't think that. I think 4 seed they could definitely.
Yeah, that's our max.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to say they're going to get it because it's too early. They could fall all the way to the 7 seed because you also have Charlotte. Fall. Charlotte's hanging around. So
yeah, I think the Bulls. I don't think they're going to be in that play-in tournament. I think they're going to actually be a playoff team there.
I hope so, dude. It's just, God, yeah, I hope so. I'm just not going to get my hopes up right now. We're only 2 weeks in.
Right.
But yeah. You have any more questions on players?
No, those were kind of some Anthony Simmons and Devin Vassell, just really, really big depth move guys looking for upside. I mean, I was in an injury situation, so I had to, and our league was picked clean. So,
real quick, good and bad schedules. Basically, this week is another all-around even week, mostly spread out 4 games and 3 games evenly. So there's not a perfect schedule for anybody, but stream options for teams that are playing Tuesday and Thursday, which is the days that there's less guys playing, so you probably have an open spot. You could stream a guy. These teams are Detroit, Houston, LA, Miami, Phoenix, and Utah. So grab any of their role players if you just want to stream a guy and try to get an extra 20 fantasy points. Win out your week in a points league. Categories, I mean, you could still stream, but a little more risky.
I just have a couple more questions I want to ask you about.
Yep.
What do you think about Gary Trent Jr. on Toronto?
I think Toronto already has their set stars, and then obviously the breakout rookie in Barnes, right?
Right.
Like, how many options is this guy going to have? And then Siakam's coming back.
Okay.
So I just don't think there's a lot of room for him to go off, bar an injury.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like Scotty Barnes would have to go down. And, they also had the small forward. God. what's his name? He's doing great.
Oh,
They're just
uh,
like kind of like they already have their guys, that have been there and they're
the guy that sounds
improving.
like Obi-Wan Kenobi, right?
Yes. Oops. Yeah, Anunoby.
Yeah, OG
So
Anunoby.
OG Anunoby, they got Fred VanVleet, OG Anunoby, Siakam would be really good, and then Scotty Barnes is a breakout. So those would be their main four. And
Right.
then you already have Precious Ashiwa on the bench, Goran Dragic on the bench, Chris Boucher on the bench, who they like. He's just struggling right now.
Yeah.
So Gary Trent's got to share all that with the good bench players, and so it's like another deep team that there's not a lot of room for Gary Trent to go off or anything.
So how about Mason Plumlee?
I see Gary Trent's doing 27.3. I mean, you could take a flyer on him. I just don't have a lot of confidence in that continuing.
Yeah. So how about
Plumlee's
Mason
fine on
Plumlee?
Charlotte.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a guy that you know what he is.
Yeah.
Um, he could average you around 25 fantasy points. That's nothing crazy. He's not like a breakout guy. Like, he's been around long enough to, he's not going to do much more than this.
Right.
So you could pick him up. It's just I'd rather grab an upside guy or a higher floor guy. I think there's higher floor guys available.
Is he like a floor guy like Steven Adams because he can easily get double doubles, or not as high as Adams?
Yeah, not as high as Adams because Adams is more proven.
Okay. How about
Is he even available in our league?
he's
Plumlee's
available
gone?
he's available in the 10 team league. I'm looking at the 10 team
I was
league.
gonna say, yeah, he's not available in.
How about Jordan Poole?
It's just a stream guy when he's hot.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy.
Okay. How about Darius Basley?
Jesus. He's a roller coaster. He's very annoying to own. I have him in a lot because of the upside. But like I said in the last week's episode, it's like his head's not all there. I don't know, man. He makes some silly plays, and it's like, what are you doing?
And then I like this guy as kind of a deep sleeper. This is my last guy that I have for you. I've always liked this guy, Jalen Brunson on Dallas. He's the backup point guard, but he's a very good passer.
I'm not super stoked. I would just, if he gets hot, you can ride him, but
okay,
not big for me. Another guy, like there's good players being dropped, and another one of those is PJ Washington. He averaged like 29.4 fantasy points last year. So if he's being dropped in your league, it's a worthy stash if you think your team can cover for him until he picks it back up. He also was playing injured with a knee, so I think that's why his numbers are lower. But it's kind of like he was dropped, you could grab him for cheap, and he could get to that 30 again. I mean, he's like Charlotte's main big man. I mean, I think he's better than Plumlee, a lot better, and Plumlee's kind of, while he's healthy, his knees are healthy, he's kind of taking those boards and everything right now. But PJ Washington just came back from the knee injury. He should be good. I mean, he's only getting 22 minutes right now. He could get up to 30. So.
Okay.
And guys, I didn't want to go over trade targets, but guys to buy low, Michael Porter Jr., if people are struggling or pissed off right now with him because he's only averaging like 24 fantasy points. And this should be a guy near 40. It's a buy low. I mean, send guys that are hot in a trade package for him. And also Porzingis, there's that injury risk, but he's also a guy who should be averaging 40 fantasy points. And he's only averaging like 25 right now. That's another buy low. But we'll get into more trade targets next week. I mean, a lot of guys aren't going to want to trade their stars yet, 2 weeks in. So I didn't really get into it this episode, but those are two guys for sure that are not doing great yet. So maybe you could get it done. You good then, Zach?
Yeah, that's all my questions.
All right. Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Hopefully, we gave you some good info and you get some key grabs this week and win your week.
Yeah. Sweet. Well, I think this is another good episode. Thanks for listening, everybody. This was Very fun. Hopefully we helped you make some tough decisions and give you some information on some guys you might not have thought about. And we'll catch you next week. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
See ya.
See ya.